We are going to do our big class Bible drills, and we're going to start with books of the Bible. So how many books are in the Bible? 66. How many books are in the Old Testament? 39. How many books are in the New Testament? 27. Okay, who thinks they can name them? Let's do the Old Testament first. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, Joshua, Judges, Ruth, 1st and 2nd Samuel, 1st and 2nd Kings, 1st and 2nd Chronicles, Ezra, Nehemiah, Esther, Job, Psalms, Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, Song of Solomon, Isaiah, Jeremiah, Lamentations, Ezekiel, Daniel, Hosea, Joel, Amos, Obadiah, Jonah, Micah, Nahum, Habakkuk, Zephaniah, Haggai, Zechariah, Malachi. Good job. Let's do our New Testament. Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Acts, Romans, 1st and 2nd Corinthians, Galatians, Ephesians, Philippians, Colossians, 1st and 2nd Thessalonians, 1st and 2nd Timothy, Titus, Philemon, Hebrews, James, 1st and 2nd Peter, 1st and 2nd, 3rd John, Jude, and Revelation. Good job. What are these 5 things God told Moses to go to Egypt to tell Pharaoh to let my people go? Did Pharaoh let God's people go? No. So how many plagues did God send? 10. Okay, let's name them. The water turned to blood, the frogs, the lice, the flies, the cattle died, the boils, the hail, the locusts, the darkness, and the firstborn died. Now we're going to do our 12 sons of Jacob, or our 12 tribes of Israel. The first one is the one that sounds like a sandwich, as Miss Emily would say. Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, Zebulun, Benjamin, Dan, Naphtali, Gad, Asher, and Joseph. Good job. Which tribe was the smallest tribe? Benjamin. Which tribe did the priests come from? Levi. And which tribe did Jesus come from? Judah. Now we're going to do our 12 apostles. Peter, Andrew, James, John, Philip, Bartholomew, Thomas, Matthew, James the son of Alphaeus, Thaddeus, Simon the Canaanite, and Judas Iscariot. Which one of the 12 betrayed Jesus? Judas Iscariot. How did he betray Jesus? He kissed him on the cheek. Now, is it bad to kiss someone on the cheek? No. Why was it bad when Judas did it? Because it told the Roman soldiers who Jesus was. And what did the Roman soldiers do to Jesus? They crucified him.
Hi guys, this is Emily, and today we're going to talk about one of our lessons from our Bible Bowl that we're studying this time. This lesson comes from 2 Kings chapter 4, and it's called The Shumanite's Son. This is almost a funny story. This one kind of makes me giggle, but this is one of those stories that if you think I'm making it up, I want you to go and read it in 2 Kings, okay? But this is a funny story from the Bible. So Elisha was traveling. He was in and about the city of Shunem a lot, okay? So he would come and go, and when he would do that, he would often travel through the country of Shunem. Well, in the country of Shunem, there was a woman who had lots and lots of money, and she was always super nice to Elisha when he came through town. Every time he would come to town, she and her husband would invite Elisha to come in and eat dinner with them. Well, it just so happened that Elisha was coming through so often that the Shunammite woman decided that they should build a room for Elisha on top of their house. And they would put in that room a bed, a table, and a lamp, a desk and a lamp, so that when he come through, he would always have somewhere to stay. Well, Elisha, don't you think Elisha thought that was helpful because now he didn't have to worry about finding somewhere to stay. So he was very, very grateful. But he had a helper, and his name was Gehazi. And he told Gehazi, "You go ask her what she would like from me in repayment for providing me with a room." So it's exactly what Gehazi did. He went to her and said, "What can we give you in exchange for all the kindness that you've shown?" And the lady didn't tell him anything. She didn't ask for anything. So Gehazi came back and told Elisha she doesn't have a baby and her husband is old. So that's what Elisha said. He said, Gehazi, you go tell the woman that this time next year she will have a baby. And Gehazi did that. But now look at her face. She doesn't look very excited. She said, "Please don't be telling me a lie. I want a baby so bad. Please don't promise me something that you can't deliver." Okay? But sure enough, in about a year, she had a baby. And she loved that baby so much. They were so good, so happy. Well, many years later, the little boy got a little bit bigger and he went out to the field one day with his father. And he got a headache, a really bad headache. And he was telling his dad, "I just can't stand it. I feel terrible." So his father asked one of the servants to carry the boy back to his mother. Because when we don't feel good, we always want to go to our mommies. So the servant boy did take the little boy back to his mama, and she held that baby and she rocked him and she loved on him. But guess what? He died. Now, do you think that mama was devastated? Absolutely. She was terrible. She was awfully upset because she loved that baby. So she went to her husband and she said, "Husband, get the donkey. I need to go find Elisha." And he said, "Well, why would you go now when your son is so sick?" And she said, "Everything's fine." So she was not telling the truth because she knew that if she could just get to Elisha, that everything would be okay. So the Shunammite woman and her servant, they got up on a donkey and they ran as fast as they could to find Elisha. Well, Elisha and Gehazi were out in the doing their thing, and they looked up and they saw the ladies coming on their donkey. And he said, "Hey, go out there and see what they want." Well, when the woman got to Elisha, she broke down and she started crying. And she said, "You told me you were going to give me a son. Please, why did you let him die? Please help my baby get better." So Elisha told Gehazi, his partner, to take the staff and lay the staff on the boy's face, that everything would be okay if Gehazi would lay the staff on the boy's face. So that's exactly what he did. What do you think happened? Absolutely nothing. The boy did not come back to life. So Gehazi went back to Elisha, told Elisha, "This is not working." So Elisha came. He came where the boy was. The mother had put the boy in Elisha's room, in the top room of her house. And Elisha went up there and he shut the door behind him and he said a prayer to God. What do you think he was asking? He was asking to please help him be able to save this boy. So Elisha did something that I think is so funny. He laid on top of that boy. Now, don't you think he squished him? Probably. But he was doing what God told him to do. So Elisha laid on the child. He put his mouth to his mouth, his eyes to his eyes, and his hands to his hands. Now that I think is so funny. I can't imagine somebody doing that. But do you think it worked? Do you think anything happened? Well, sure enough, that little boy sneezed. Now, of all the things for a dead child to do, a sneeze. Well, he sneezed again and again. That little boy actually sneezed 7 times. Now, I want you to remember that number 7 because I feel sure that's going to be on the Bible Bowl. That little boy went from being dead to sneezing 7 times. So he sat up, and that little boy was just as healthy as he could be. So Elisha quickly called for the boy's mom, and he said, "You go pick up your son." Do you think she was excited to pick that baby up? Absolutely. She squeezed him and loved him, but she thanked Elisha, and she was so happy. Don't you think that's a great story? I just think it's so good. All right. I hope you keep reading Second Kings. Thank you. Bye.
Good morning, boys and girls. It's Miss Deshawn, and I know you guys just listened to another story from Second Kings because we're talking about Bible Bowl, and this story was again about Elisha, a prophet of God, and he was able to perform another miracle. Wasn't that a great story? I loved hearing about what he could do and how he helped the Shunammite woman and her son, and so I have a song for you about this story, okay? And it's pretty long, but it has some pictures to it, and it's to the tune of I am a Christian. It goes like, I am a C, I am a CH. So maybe you can sing along with me. I had to change it up a little bit to get it all to fit, but hopefully you'll enjoy this and it'll help you to review the story. Okay? He's called Elisha. He is a prophet. He is a prophet of the Lord. He carries God's word to the people, to Israelites near and far. On his travels, he met a couple. They lived in a town called Shunem. They built a room for him to stay. Whenever he was in town, he made a promise to the couple. In a year they'd have a son. The son was born and he grew up. He grew up big and strong. He helped his father work the field. His head began to ache. He was carried home, got sick and died. On Elisha's bed he was laid. The boy's mother went to see if she could find Elisha. She brought him back. He closed the door and soon began to pray. Elisha lay upon the child, covering him from head to toe. The child grew warm, began to sneeze. Her boy lives once more. So because of Elisha, her child was raised from the dead. Elisha knew that the Shunammite woman and her husband had been so kind to him that he knew he had to do this for them. And through God, he was able to heal this boy. My favorite part of the story, and it might be your favorite part too, is when the boy sneezed 7 times. I thought that was really a funny part of the story. So hopefully that'll help you remember what happened in the story of Elisha and the Shunammite woman's son. Okay, see you next time. Bye.
When I grow up, what will I be? I want to be a bus worker. And if I'm a bus worker, I want to be a bus worker who's a Christian.
What's that song you're singing, Leroy?
It's number 1 on the hit parade, the song that everyone's singing. And besides all that, it's my theme song.
We sing that song on the bus. That's where I've heard it.
You're right, Big Daddy. I just really do like singing that song. It's my favorite tune.
I didn't know that. Just last week you told everybody on the bus that He Invites Us Into His Banqueting Table was your favorite song.
Well, I changed my mind. In fact, I just changed my mind yesterday at school.
What made you change it? You were really hepped up on that banqueting table song. In fact, you nearly drove everyone crazy singing it over and over and over again.
Well, I still like that banqueting song, but it just can't top the bus worker one.
Well, what made you change your mind?
In my language class at school yesterday, we had to write a report on what we wanted to be when we grew up. We had to tell all about it and say why we wanted to have that job.
And you said you wanted to be a bus worker?
I sure did. Do you want to know why?
Because you love kids?
Nope.
Because you want to serve God?
Nope.
Because you want others to learn about Jesus?
No.
Then what is your reason?
Don't worry, I've got a lot of good reasons.
Like what?
I want to be a bus worker when I grow up because it's easy.
You think being a bus worker is an easy job?
I sure do, and besides all that, they must make a ton of money.
Your head is full of marbles, Leroy.
No siree, I've thought about it all afternoon. Being a bus worker has just got to be an easy job. There's nothing to it. The only days those bus workers work is Sunday and Wednesday. What a life. The rest of the week they just sleep in, have a good old time spending all that money they make.
Bus workers don't get paid money, Leroy.
Oh, yes they do. How do you think they afford those nice clothes they wear to church on Sundays? Every time I see them, they look super nice. Money doesn't grow on trees, you know.
I know, and brains don't grow in your head either.
I can't wait. A 2-day job. All week long I can sit around drinking strawberry sodas. The bus workers only work on Sundays and Wednesdays, you know. They just ride the buses and that's it. Big deal. I like to ride the bus. It's fun. It'll really be fun to be a bus worker when I grow up. I'll be rich, get to ride the bus all the time, and I'll only have to work 2 days a week.
Leroy, you've got it all wrong. Bus workers don't get paid for their work.
Oh yeah? Then where do they get their money?
They have other jobs, just like your daddy. They work every day to earn money for food, clothes, and a home for their family.
You mean they're bus workers and have another job?
Oh yes, and they wear nice clothes because they want to look their best for Jesus at church.
They don't dress that way all the time?
Oh no, they have work clothes just like you and I. The bus workers work many more hours than just on Sundays and Wednesdays. They go to the bus children's home and knock on doors looking for more children to ride the buses, and they spend many hours preparing their lessons for teaching on the bus. Being a bus worker is a hard job.
Then why do they do it? They don't get paid any money for it, and they must be tired on Sundays and Wednesday evenings after working another job all week.
I think they work so hard on the buses because they love us.
What?
I said that they love us. They really do care about us and want us to learn about Jesus. That's why they work so hard.
Well, I really have learned a lot. You know, I still want to be a bus worker when I grow up.
You do?
Yeah, and a race car driver. What will I be? I want to be a bus worker and a race car driver.